Okay, so Friday, the last day of IPOR, but not the least, there was important topics that came up. We heard about the importance of regular reviews. I'm assuming that that's just as necessary in business protection as it is for individual protection. So is that something that you do? And if so, can you talk us through your process?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right, it is something that we do. It's incredibly important. So I think for us, obviously, like most advisors, you try and make sure that not only is it correct today, either the setup of the
Yeah,
policies, but it's going to be correct for as long as you can possibly look into the future. Obviously, circumstances change, but as much as possible. So where appropriate, keeping it on a level or even an indexed basis,
yeah,
and making sure that you're not just covering the bare essentials, but
yeah,
it's going to bake in some growth later on because obviously they might not be able to get insured later on.
yeah,
So our process is we make sure that we're contacting the client every single year, a year after we've started the applications, obviously, and whatnot. Do we get every single client? No, they don't all want to come back every year.
yeah, yeah,
But that I would imagine more often than not is because we're talking about changes in the business. And if they haven't had many or any, then
yeah,
they're busy enough. It's
yeah,
not a top priority. And really,
yeah,
protection falls into that category anyway, right? It's
yeah,
important, but it's not urgent until it is. So
yeah,
the key aspects for us, if we've done shareholder protection, can you send us the new accounts? We'll run a new valuation. If
yeah,
there's a material change in that, it's worth looking at either through a GIO or an additional sum assured. Um, in the last few years, have companies really grown that much? Maybe
yeah,
not so much. I mean, the
yeah,
new ones obviously more rapid, but and then the addition of key people. We are on the group side. We're more in contact with them, obviously, because you've got a PMI scheme of say 100 people.
yeah,
In any one month, there's going to be one or two that leave, or one or two who join. So you need, or maybe not join, but pass the probation and then qualify for whatever
yeah,
the setup is, right? So there will be points where, okay, we need to make sure that we're contacting. So normally with
yeah,
our PMI, for example, we'll say you can do it on one of two bases. You can either set it up so if someone joins, tell us when their 6 month probation will end, and then we can
yeah,
check in with you, or at the beginning of the month, middle of the month, and whatever you want, just send us a list of whoever now qualifies. We'll quote, send it to you, get it on, and that sort of stuff. But yeah, we've got a very good relationship with our clients. I think because of the fact that you have to speak to them so many times to get this over I
yeah,
mean, the next PMI scheme that we're going to be doing of a reasonable size, I've been speaking to this client for a year, I think,
yeah,
and they need shareholder protection, they need key person cover, all that sort of stuff. But this is the first domino to fall, and hopefully the rest will follow suit.
yeah,
Um, but it's almost like my second home now. I've been to their office several times. They've been in,
yeah,
talked to them on a million teams. I'm actually speaking to them at 4:30 today.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're on his Christmas card list, then, yeah.
I'd be miffed if I wasn't. Yeah.
Right, so we also talked about value-added benefits on Friday. So do
Yeah.
these come into play with business protection? And in your experience, what's the take up and particular benefits that are popular?
Yeah, of course. I mean, most of them will provide something, right? Even if it's not fantastic, they'll still have
Yeah,
an element of it.
yeah,
I generally steer away from the absolute cheap end of the market if possible. If it's only a pound or two more,
yeah,
and you're getting, one of the really good benefit package. I'm trying to be
yeah,
diplomatic here and not say anyone in particular. I think it's worth it, and I think most people, when you position it in the way of saying, look, you're going to pay a couple of quid extra a month or 50p or whatever it is, you're going to
yeah,
have access to X, Y, Z.
yeah,
Does that make sense to you? Yeah, it does. And not
yes,
everyone
yeah,
takes private medical out. So having the ability to have the second medical opinion, having the private the GP 24/7, having counselling lines and bereavement support and all that stuff is
yeah,
incredibly valuable. On the business side, it's really valuable because you can also use that as a way of helping get people back in work quicker,
yeah,
if
yeah,
similar to PMI.
yeah,
And then they've got, some of them have legal support and other I mean, I will shout out Aegon because they're not in the market anymore, but they used to have a key person recruitment support tool thing.
Yeah.
Not doing it justice, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's some really, really fantastic options that clients don't know about. And even
Yeah.
when I'm speaking to new clients, and we review what they've got in the past,
Yeah.
sometimes you say, by the way, you've got an LV product, you've got an LV.
Mm.
Do you know you've got X, Y, and Z? And they go, what?
Yeah.
No. So you can even help them without it doing any
Yeah.
business with it. And then obviously, it's no secret, Vitality with their very different
Yeah.
product ranges is very attractive to a lot of clients.
Yeah.
Because it's maybe on the PMI side, for example, it's not just that they've got access to consultants and all that support. They've also
Yeah.
got the discounted bits and bobs that go through that program. So I definitely talk about it across the board. I think it helps make the stuff that we're doing tangible to the client. If you're
Yeah.
talking about shareholder life protection, they may never claim on it, right? It might
Yeah.
be, and I hope it is. It might be a complete waste of money. Hopefully
Yeah.
they survive that time. But if they get a little bit of something during that, it
Yeah.
not only gives them a nice fuzzy feeling and of
Yeah.
support, but also it helps retention. You're much less likely
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
cancel something if you've also got all of these ancillary benefits.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Right. So for any advisors who have watched our chats this week, and are maybe now interested in finding out more, or considering how to get started with business protection, what would your advice be?
There's a few really. I'd say make sure you know what you're talking about, because you can you trip yourself up really easily if you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Language is really key. Obviously, I said in one of the earlier sessions, we are dealing with people who are hungry to, grow a business so they're successful and whatnot. But I think the average reading age in the UK is like 9 or 10, and
Yeah.
numeracy is 1 year lower than that. So
Yeah.
when you're delivering stuff, this is potentially outside, well, almost certainly outside of their realm of expertise. And the language that you use is really, really important. If
Yeah.
you deliver stuff that is, just go straight over the head, how can you possibly expect to sign them up? If
Yeah.
you deliver it in a way that is in bite-sized chunks, but also within a framework that they can understand, and that framework should be their business, right? You talk about the individuals, what happens
Yeah.
if that person goes down, and you make it relatable, they're much, much more likely to do it. But I think if you don't have the expertise, it's, and I would say this, but use someone who, and whether it's us or not, right? But use
Yeah.
someone who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I think we talk to a lot of brokerages, and some of them say that they do business protection, and some of them do a fantastic job. But
Yeah.
others, some pay lip service, right? And when they're talking about it, I don't know if how that last sentence would fit in the thing. Maybe I wouldn't say it that way, but I think if you do business protection, you should be offering all of the suite of products, because otherwise you're giving limited advice and the client doesn't know that they're getting limited advice. So you can't say that you do business protection if all you do is relevant life,
Yeah.
because it's just personal cover done for a business, right? There's not,
Yeah.
all you're doing is putting a different company owner
Yeah.
as a different direct
Yeah.
debit. That's all the different that's different in there. If you are talking about the suite of products that we've talked about, then
Yeah.
so I think you need to be able to talk about that, because we see a lot of it where clients have got some stuff and they think it's X, Y, and Z. Now, obviously, it's done a long time ago, right? Potentially, so they might
Yeah.
actually have forgotten.
Yeah.
But one of the cases we've done this month, whoever the broker was before had done death in service for everyone. Nothing wrong with that. 3 times salary,
Yeah.
whatever, fine.
Yeah.
On the key person cover, they've just done a blanket 3 times on life for everyone, including the owner of the business who doesn't work in the business. There's no insurable interest there.
Yeah.
If she died, it would be tragic, and there would
Mm.
be a need to buy the shares and all that sort of stuff
Yeah.
from whoever it would go, or well, it would pass to a kid. But
Yeah.
she's not going to impact the business. They've got a professional
No.
MD, they've got all of the structure
Yeah.
in place. They didn't need it, so they were paying for something that was totally irrelevant, and it didn't address what would happen if they became critically ill, which is
Yeah.
more likely, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just make sure you know what you're talking about before you go into it, I would say.
Yeah. Otherwise, signpost.
But
Mm.
in addition to what I've just said, obviously we pay a commission to anyone that does pass us business at 35%. So, and that's for the lifetime of the client. So obviously if we redo cover in the future, you know, add some shareholder protection, add a group scheme, whatever it is, we know who gave it to us, and we pass the commission on again.
That's good. Good to know. Good point to make.